My name is Tan Wei. My metric number is 29174. I would like to present about policy implementation between Malaysia and China in addressing poverty problem from 2018 to 2025. So this is the presentation outline, which is 1.0, background and thorough discussion of the issue. 2.0, theories related to the issues. 3.0, policy implementation between Malaysia and China from 2018 to 2025. 4.0, which is my own opinion. So I will start with 1.0, which is a background and thorough discussion of the issue. And I will start with the pre-pandemic period. So during the pre-pandemic period, the GDP declined from 4.8% in 2018 to 4.4% in 2019. This is because the agricultural output declined by 5.7%, the government spending decreased by 7.7%, and then the export of goods and service decreased by 3.1%. The service industry sectors increased by 6.1%. So the unemployment rate declined to the 3.2% in 2019. The labor force participation rate increased to 68.7%. The employed population rate rose by around 297,400 individuals. So this expansion was bolstered by the consistent consumer demand and manufacturing activities. The unemployment still exists due to the youth unemployment. Individual aged 20 to 24 years persists at 11.19%. Therefore, the absolute poverty rate remained high at 5.6%. Next, I will proceed with the pandemic COVID-19 period. So the Malaysia's GDP declined from 4.4% in 2019 to negative 5.5% in the 2020. So this is due to the MCO resulted in the shutdown of the unnecessary enterprise, constraints on internal and foreign travel, and prohibitions on social connections. This will bring in loss to the Malaysia GDP. So the decline in tourists visited impact the hospitality industry. So due to the COVID-19 pandemics, which is more than 30,000 of employees in the nation's hotel sectors have been laid off their livelihood. The more than 10,000 of individuals have been compelled to take unpaid holidays. More than 6,000 of others have experienced pay cut. This caused the absolute poverty rate rise from 5.6% in 2018 to 8.4% in 2020. So the third one is a post-pandemic COVID-19 period. The GDP began to increase by 8.7% in 2020. The consumption increased by 18.3%. The service industry experienced an 8.9% growth. Export increased by 25%. In terms of the labor force participations, the male is recorded as 18.8%, the female recorded as 55.6%. So among the unemployed less than 3 months equals to the 48.4%, jobless for 3 to 6 months equals to 28.6%, and then the unemployment more than 1 year equals to 9.3%. So the transition of the epidemic stage enabled people to return to the workforce market. The LFPR increased to 69.4%. The unemployment rate decreased to 3.6%. So the absolute poverty rate reduced to 6.2%. So the furthermore is 2.0, theories related to the issues. The first is a neoclassical theory, which is the human capital theory. So human capital theory tells that the individual decision regarding schooling, vocational education, and accessibility as component of human capital to elucidate income disparities. Disparities in personal incomes attributed to the interplay of cognitive ability, environment, and training. So here's the policy recommendation from the human capital theory, in which by improving one augmented education expenditures for the impoverished can enhance their achievable skills levels and influence their earning potential. So the second theory is Keynesian theory, which is about the unemployment and poverty. So the employment stability is a crucial factor in mitigating the persistence of poverty, allowing individuals to anticipate improved career opportunities through investment in personal skills and knowledge that can lead to higher expected future income. However, employment that relies on growth of freelance, low-paid, brief positions will still contribute to poverty. Moreover, 3.0 policy implementation between Malaysia and China in addressing poverty problem. I will start with policy implementation by Malaysia. The first one is the TVET. The TVET aim is for cultivating skills workers and enhancing their value in the labor market. So, total of RM 4.9 billion allocations. Apart from that, they're also offering 100 outstanding students scholarship with a budget of 4.5 million. The second one is developing skills and job of TN50 by engaging in education and training aligns with job market demands. They continue the scheme Latihan One Malaysia's apprenticeship program, which has trained 138,000 students. So the third one is encouraging participation in higher education. Iron 2.2 billion is designated for scholarship. Iron 400 million has been dedicated for R&D. Iron 90 million for the My Brain program supporting 10,600 individuals in pursuing their masters and PhD. Moreover, create additional job opportunities. 100 million ringgit allocated to expand e-Rezeki, e-Usahawan, and e-Learner programs. 120 million ringgit is designed for facilitate loan for 1,000 One Malaysia food truck and One Malaysia mobile food kiosk entrepreneurship. So the next is cut in the rate of personal income tax, which can enhance one person's disposable income. A 2% point reduction illustrated below. So for those income from 20,001 ringgit to 35,000 ringgit has been decreased from 5% to 3%. For those income from 35,000 ringgit and 1 to 50,000 ringgit has been reduced from 10% to 8%. For those income from 50,001 ringgit to 70,000 ringgit has been reduced from 16% to 14%, which augment the financial resources of the populace by 300 to 1,000 ringgit. Other than that, defer the payment of PTPTN. The COVID-19 pandemic is a period of challenges since there are many individuals lost their job. Defer loan repayment for borrowers of the Skills Development Fund Corporation (PTPTK), and this initiative is projected to benefit 1,074,500 borrowers. So the next is the Private Retirement Schemes (PRX), which is a backup option for the pension funds. Due to the pandemic, the citizens they want cash to for their everyday needs. So the government permitted pre-retirement payment from account B of the PRX, allowing up to 1,500 ringgit per participant. So the moreover is the waivers and postponement regarding the accommodation and enterprise premise rentals. So the government extended the rental exclusions for the PPR from 1 month to 6 months. The initiative encompasses the 3,636 units of PPR homes. And then there is also the 6 month lease expansion for all premises, such as the school canteen and so on. Furthermore, the Job Retaining Initiative, the wage subsidy program to support employers in retaining employees. They allocate a monthly salary of 600 ringgit to employee for a duration of 3 months. The program target workers with earnings below 4,000 ringgit and below who have faced a decline in income exceeding 50% since January 1 of the 2020. So the next is the government provide financial support for e-hailing drivers. So the MCOs impacts the daily earnings of full-time online taxi service drivers. So the government providing a one-time payment of 500 ringgit to 120,000 online driver. Moreover, the government also provide a cash transfer through SDR and SARA initiative during the post-pandemic period. So the first is the SDR initiative. So for those who are the monthly income from 2,500 and below, they can get a minimum of 1,000 ringgit and a maximum of 2,500 ringgit. So for those who are the income from 2,500 and 1 ringgit to 5,000 ringgit, they get a minimum of 500 and a maximum of 1,250 ringgit. So next is the SARA initiative, especially for those who are the SDR household recipients. They can get a 100 ringgit per month in the period of 9 months, start from the April 2025. And then the SDR single senior citizen recipients can get a 50 ringgit per month in the period of 9 months, start from April 2025. So here is the interview output from the Dr. Marina Midi Abdul Manap. So in the short terms, the SDR and SARA can boosting the impossible income of the low income household by increasing the purchasing power can drive demand for necessities which help stabilize price. And in the long term, the capacity it build the capacity to build the economic resilience among beneficiaries. Since the SARA eligibility is broadened, focusing not only on the extreme poor but also on those slightly above the poverty line. So the next is the China and India tourists will be eligible for free 30 days visas from December 1, 2023 to December 31, 2024. So this is the insight from the Dr. Lim Hock Yen. So the free visas policy as a tactic for improving the tourism industry. China and India is the two most populous countries. It will lead to economic growth a reduction in the unemployment rate, and more business opportunities. The expenditures for tourists is the highest in the world, so boost consumption, which in turn drive up demand. They plan to raise the price, especially for those who live near desirable location. This will encourage more tourism business to generate profit. Next, the government will increase the minimum salaries to 1,700 ringgit per month. So according to Dr. Lin Haoyan, by increasing the minimum salaries, we are elevating the firm's manufacturing costs and therefore raise the price. If they wish to maintain the cost of production, they may opt to reduce the number of employees. The corporation may enhance its industries by substituting low-educated personnel with highly educated workers. Individuals who lost their jobs will seek alternative employment. The unemployment issues appears unaffected. In the long term, it will motivate the workers to develop themselves. Next, I would like to proceed with the policy implementation by China. The first policy implementation by China is the poor families in rural areas China's will move to central villages. Relocating the households are advised to convert their previous house in rural area into agricultural lands, woodlands, and grazing land. China government construct new housing and social facilities in areas of allocation such as medical centers and educational institutions. The second is reforming the agricultural land use system by introducing the framework of the separation of free right of land includes turn on the ownership move system, maximize land distribution, and expand the agricultural sector's positioning. Next is the establishment of an asset income support system by convert inactive land to resources and incorporate them into the main business structures to maximize the possible of all the resources. Furthermore, impoverish rural residents. The previous rural building sites can thus be repurposed through reclamation, reorganizations, and treatment. The extra building quarter in poor regions is now permitted to be transferred to foster the growth of impoverishment sectors. But this can enabling them to find employment in nearby enterprises, enhancing assets and earnings. So the number four is the land use policies. By adopting an integrated approach to the size, framework, divisions of constructing land, it is prioritizing the allocation of such land in underdeveloped regions. The allocations of restrictions for new added building land, the fluctuating ratio of urban-rural development, and redevelopment of the mining barren land. Moreover, China government offered short-term financial and social services during COVID-19. Hubei offered an initial living expense ranging from the 200 RMB to 300 RMB per month for the individual affected by the lockdown. Cash transfers to approximately 15,000 individuals, totaling 36.6 RMB million, facilitating short-term relocations for over 6,000 individuals across the 69 sites. Other than that, the China government enhanced social assistance program. The federal government will cover 30% of the subsidy cost for eastern provinces, 60% for fundamental regions, 80% for eastern regions. The remaining costs borne by local government. The cost is projected to be 156 billion RMB, which represent the 22.3 billion US dollar is expected to assist approximately 39 million people in need. Furthermore, the China government were offering unemployment benefits to jobless individuals. The government provided support via the Jobless Protection Scheme. Unemployment benefits provided to the workers who had been laid off but did not satisfy the criteria for claiming unemployment coverage. 1.46 million enterprises had been obtained 1222.2 million RMB, which represent the 3.2 billion of US dollar in repayment from the unemployment compensation funds, benefits 49.551 million workers. Moreover, generating additional employment opportunities. Short-term construction applications, including hygienic and epidemic preventations, were established in the residence locations of migrants workers during the inability to live. Funding in public works amounted to approximately 5.6 billion RMB, benefiting around 300,000 impoverished countryside and migrant workers. Next, enhancing rural incomes through the combination of all three tiers of business sectors, job assistance, business ownership, and increase the construction in village. In this, in addressing income disparity problem by promoting the development of agriculture, animal husbandry, manufacturing, and tourism in rural areas. They also enhance the transforming manufacturing through the establishment of industrial centers. Apart from that, also diversification of the income source for rural inhabitants by connecting commercial agricultures with new economic ventures and by combining the modern agricultural practice with recreational travel and rural community development, which can ensuring long-term jobs for countryside migrant workers. I want to continue with 4.0, which is my own opinion. First, there is an inefficiencies of institutions on providing the poverty reduction services. The government should centralizing all poverty-related initiatives under one committed umbrella agencies. These agencies would be in charge keeping a current real-time beneficiary database, organizing initiatives among several ministries, and closely supervising application. The main issues is provide assistance for those who are not in the greatest need. It is caused by using old data, breaking down collaborations among departments, and mismatch between policies and policy changes. Next, some people still do not get access to good schooling. In rural areas, schools have insufficient facilities, not enough teachers, few materials, and poor or no internet connections. Therefore, the government should improving school building, improve internet access, keep talented teachers, and distributing free devices. Furthermore, reinforce empowerment-based policy. Excessive cash transfers might cause people really to easy money. So, the government should introduce encourage programs such as getting skills, starting enterprise, and developing capacities. So, I think that's all for me. Thanks for watching.